tell us about your program and your personal journey with dogs with your dad. And you were born into it, I'm sure. But just go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, thanks, Sean, for having us. Sorry my
Yeah.
dad couldn't be here. He's out 6 hours away catching pigs.
Yeah.
So, like, just as we are talking before we hit record, he's sending me on the WhatsApp all the videos of all the pigs he's catching. Yeah, so where do I begin? My dad was pretty much in the dog game before I was born, and he used to breed the American People Terrier when they first came into Australia. He used to go to a lot of shows, weight pulling, and just breed him here, and it was a big thing until they got banned. Um, so everyone knows all the pit stuff and the real dog men. It's very looked down upon here and everywhere. So it was a big thing, and he didn't want to be a part of that crowd, or assumed to be a part of that crowd. Just because he had a pit bull doesn't mean you're associated with it. And he kind of pushed away to the bull terrier, and we have the Australian stag hound. So it's a mix of I think it was a deerhound and the greyhound, and it's kind of like the bull Arab, if you're familiar with the bull Arab, or it became its own thing, its own breed. It's very old school, 80s, 90s hunting dog, and from there we bred them together, but they were black and hairy dogs back then. Now, if you check out the page, they're all short hair and white. Yeah, but he got a liking to hunting, and when I was born, he took me there, and I wasn't really into it, being from the city. We want to play with the car, like the toy cars and stuff, and then when I got older, I was like nightclubbing and girls, and now it's like I just got reattached to that the hunting. But like backtrack a bit to when we started hunting. Um, he just really found the like we call them like the bully stags. That's the shorter version for it. Um, that was his dog, and he's always had one in the team. We had the band dog crosses and greyhound pits, but the bully stag always stayed. And um, as we got older, technology changed. Before we had to take pictures with the disposable camera, or old Nokia's, and I saw it as an opportunity to showcase what he likes to do. And everyone was slowly, there was a big platform coming with hunting and using dogs. We have TikTok and everything else. Patreon is another thing going, and I'm pretty sure there's another one getting around. And I said to him, "Oh, let's make a page." And we started putting the pages, like pictures of the dogs, and fast forward 5 years, and we've grown, and there's people like around the world asking us like, "Oh, can we get a dog?" And love to see what you do, like yourself, you're very interested, and people here are making money off it, selling merchandise and stuff. And my dad really wants to retire on that. So as a son, I was like, "Oh, let's father and son duo, let's get it going." And now we're here. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. So everything we do is like a piss take. It's a joke. So we started a TikTok account, and I think we got up to 320,000 followers. But with the content we post, it wasn't really up to the standards of TikTok, and we got removed. But we started making like a couple cents here, a couple dollars there, and we got some friends in the same industry here in Australia, and their pages get banned, and a lot of them, that's what they live off. They live off the content creation and selling the merchandise, and it was just something we couldn't do, so we never really got monetized. We do get those. I think we get like $1.50 a month from Facebook. It's not paying the bills here, but yeah, it's just something that we'd love to do in the future and get proper monetized. But with our content, it's very hard. Yeah, like we try and strive to be like a passion, not a profit. Bunch. Like we a lot of people we see make a lot of money off the dogs, um, but for us, it's more of like we'd love to get our name and everyone to have one of our dogs, just to enjoy what we're going through as well. But my dad really wants to like quit his job. He's like a tradie, so he's a high security fencer, and he's breaking his back every day, to enjoy it on the weekend. But it'd be good for us to start selling merchandise and hunting. A lot of people have asked us they wish that we could take him out for a hunting, like a little like a trip. But then it's like someday, like it's we haven't really set it up yet to make heaps of money off it, where we can quit our normal jobs, normal um, to pay the bills and stuff. So hopefully in the near future, we can start to make that adjustment. But it's really hard, even just to make like to get merchandise and get logos. I got someone making a new design now, and it's just like $300, and it's not what you want. So yeah, firsthand how content creation is. It's really hard. Yeah, like say especially with the pig hunting community, like they're making it like it's getting harder because the government is trying to regulate stuff. So what we're doing now might not even exist. In what 10 years time, I'm pretty sure like people are trying to fight for it now, saying like to regulate pig hunting a lot. But we have a lot of good people out there, like the Pig Dogging Association and stuff, and that ethical hunting. So what we can do now might not be able to do, down the track. So it's hard. Like you're gonna set up a business that's gonna come crumbling down. So yeah, it's just something that we have to think about hard. So that's why we do, keep working our jobs now. With our job, we fund a bit of it into the business or the page, and when we breed our dogs to sell, we usually use the money to buy more dog food or merchandise. Fund a little hunting trip, and we just get that to keep us going. So yeah, yeah. So like growing up, I've always been around like no less than like 5 dogs. It's always like always like had like 10+ dogs. So my dad even had we'd have a slap meal and all that, right? Training his dogs, just making them look good. I remember going on walks with the dogs, and no matter what, my dad always strived to make his dogs love children and women. Otherwise he would he'd love an aggressive dog. But it was always good because he teach me a lot with how to be calm around dogs, and the dogs read your vibes. And as a kid you never really understand it, but as you get, like, as I'm older now, I know I still look like a kid, but it was always good. It gave me I feel like it really builds you up as a person when you're around dog people. And he had a lot of good dog mates, and like dogmen, like, and it was just interesting to see how they taught their dogs. And not only did I just learn from my dad, it was always like a lot of people that's still in the game today that were breeding different dogs, like breeding the pits or hunting dogs. And yeah, it's been really good. It's been a good journey, and I can't really say that I can continue it because my dad's like he's like an OG. He's pretty proper. Um, he's not just like a dog man. He's like he's like a vet. He teaches me all this stuff with the dogs. Um, where like where even people, all my friends, if something happens to their dog, they're coming around to my house, calling me up. Oh, we need your dad. They call me and yeah, we need your dad. Your dad needs to come do this. Come sort my dogs out. It's like Caesar Milan. Caesar Milan. Yeah, so it's been good.
Talk about the things that you guys do as far as the animal husbandry, and how, what does that mean to his program? I mean, obviously it helps with keeping proper dogs for breeding.
Yeah, so like my dad's he's got his he's got a program now that we want to try and have a dog that can do it all. And he's now creating like these what we call sporting bullies, which is just like the bully stags that he's made in his own line and different percentages. So every breeding's a bit different. We have the like similar breedings, but sometimes we have more bully or more stag, which gives you a whole different dog. You get more leggier, like a bit calmer, or you get dogs that are like completely rogue and stuff. And he's just been doing that. And from that, we've even created like a base for other people to bring their dogs. And there's a lot of in Australia, there's a lot of people doing their own lines as well. So we have like bull Arabs, bully cattles, boxer cattles. Then we have like the greyhound pits, bully greys, all different dogs. And now we've created like what we're my dad's hoping to make like the bull Arab is his own line of the bully stag or the sporting bully as we like to call it. And I even seeing it like now go across to the states. Like some people are using our words over the states, or other people from Australia using his breeding as a name. And it's pretty good because like even in the states, I'm pretty sure they got the what they call like a battle cross, which is like a bull terrier cross pit. And even people here now like it's getting around, so it's been interesting, like like you see it from other people, but now that I'm seeing it, my dad's like one of those people now, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's dive into the sporting bully. What so he's got two different lines or three different lines, and then he's tried to so one's got a higher percentage of lurcher, and the other side's got a higher percentage of bully, and then
Yeah, so
something in between. And just talk about what you notices with the difference of each of those.
yeah, so like my dad's taken a pure English bull terrier and then Australian staghound, mixed them together. I can't do the percentages. If he was here, he could tell you the mathematical terms. It's hard. He tells me all the time. I'm like, nah, I suck at maths. It's like easy fractions, easy percentages. Nah, doesn't work. He had the 50 cross, and then he'd get like a bull terrier or a staghound, and then you can breed the 50-50 to the staghound. You get a more taller dog, or breed it back to the bull terrier. Kind of like you're outcrossing it. So we've had like dogs where there's only been 6% staghound or 12% staghound. So you get like this nice bully without the health issues, the fatness, and it's very athletic, and it's got this calming nature still from the staghound. Where you know how they're very stubborn and very stubborn-headed dogs. People, just typical bully. These dogs will have a bit of that bulliness, but they still got a bit of intelligence from the staghound. So I find when you have dogs with the less staghound, you get they're just crazy, but they lack that ability to run their speed. They're missing a few things. So what you get from somewhere, you lose it from there. And like with the ones with the more staghound, um, yeah, they're fast, agile, but they're a bit softer. They're not as hard as the big dogs. But you find there's a perfect mix between the middle mark, maybe a bit more bully, where you get this good dog, and it all depends what the person's after. My dad will get that. So at the moment, we've got a couple different lines now, and we have this bitchy Nova, where she's aggressive, and now everything coming out of her line is keeping that aggression, which what we like, but um, we're just missing the height now. So then we'll get another one of our sporting bullies that has more leg, breed them together, and then we're getting things that we like. So my dad's pretty good with that. If we have a dog that doesn't fit the criteria or doesn't match it, we're not going to breed it. As you should. Some people they start breeding everything. Where we're trying to get like what someone wants with this line, we'll breed that line, keep those pups there, keep them breeding, and then if we want something that maybe not a hunting dog but a nice looking bully. People want pure bullies, but they don't want to pay the money, and they want something with a bit more brains. We'll breed that line, and so forth.
I do love sidehounds and lurchers because they do have an off switch compared. You know what I mean? They're not as animal aggressive
Yeah,
unless they're hunting.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Like with the stag hound, the greyhounds, the deerhounds, wolfhounds. It's always good to have them because like you said, 1 minute they're like 100%, the next they're like 50-40, just relaxing. Where if you get a bully, you know they're smashing the pig at home, smashing the couch, smashing this, smashing that. Yeah, so our dogs are pretty good. Like we've bred a few that are like there's just proper nutcases, but everyone's different. Some people want the nutcase, So it all like a lot of our customers or people that inquire about our dogs, they're like, we want this, and they'll send us like a picture of what they want and a temperament that they want or what they do, and like my dad and I will go through and say like, all right, this we're doing this breeding in 6 months, which will suit what you want. Some people want to like hunt um, the mountains, and we say, look, this breeding is not going to fit for you. You can have this, or they say, yeah, I want a hunting dog, but I want it to be pretty chill at home. Okay, we'll get this dog, and we try and just fit the dog to the person.
What you and your dad like as far as out there on the hunt, and why the combination is so important to your program.
Yeah, yeah. So like my dad loves like a 1 hour style type hunting. So it's we've got a few different styles here, like where we use like people use bailers. I think he's called them bay dogs, where they'll go out, find the pig, hold them up there, and then you drop a big dog, or if you're a shooter, you shoot them and whatnot. But we like to run like maybe a squad of 3 dogs that can find, catch, and hold. So we usually hunt from the back of the ute. The dog will be on the back. They'll sniff out the pigs or um, where my dad hunts. He's been hunting there for 10 years, so he knows everywhere to go at what time. He'll say like at 7 o'clock they'll come through this fence. We'll catch them here. So most of the time the dogs see them. So we'll be driving, and all of a sudden we'll see them cross the fence. We drop them off where they ran on the pad. So the pad's where the pigs use like a track. The dogs will chase the scent or chase the pig. Sometimes it'll be 50 meters they find the pig, or 1.5 k's, um, which is when they grab the pig or they're looking for it. We'll sit there with the tracker, and when we hear that they're on, we'll walk down there or drive down there and get the pig from the back of the leg and stick it. And that's what works for us. Might not work for everyone else, and that's what we enjoy. A few times we can use our dog to do like the bailing style. So we go out with one of our boys, Valentino. He runs Balin dogs, Yugoslavian Balin dogs, and it's fun. Like it's a different experience again. We can use our dogs as a drop dog or an anchor dog, what the Americans would call it, um, where his dogs would go bail them up, and instead of just letting our dogs find, his dog finds, we drop them off, and it's good. Like you still have the chance to do a different style, but our style is that like the style where they find, catch, and hold their own pig. Um, we prefer the 1 hour style, which is like one dog, one pig. Which for some people that's crazy, Like if you look at some people, they're dropping like 10 dogs on one pig, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, usually like two to 3 dogs to be safe. I think it's a bit more sillier now. You lose one good dog just to see, like a 20 kilo sporting bully on a 100 kilo pig. Looks cool in the video and that, but yeah, you just got to be a bit more safe. So we enjoy that 3 dog team, and it works well with our dogs. But it can do anything. So the more bullier ones, you can use with the bay dogs, and then everything else, our dogs can do the same. Like we like it to do everything. So yeah.
What is that Yugoslavian one now? Bayhound?
Yeah, so
Baylor?
Yugoslavian Balin dogs. Yeah.
Okay. What's in the mix of that?
No, so like he's Yugoslavian, so his
Right,
dogs are
right.
like with cross collies and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit more smaller dogs. He's Serbian,
Yeah.
so they call it Yugoslavian Balin dogs. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's got with collie crosses and stuff.
Does he use bull in them at all?
No, but he's actually got one of our dogs now. He's got 2 of our
Okay.
dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's putting
Yeah.
into the team. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, well, it's such an interesting culture there in Australia. As far as people with their dogs, they utilize a lot of different genetics. I think, and I don't know for sure, but just as somebody from outside looking in, it's probably because you don't have the ability to get as much genetic diversity by importing all these dogs because of your laws
yeah,
and everything else, and then you add money to that factor. It's a long road to hoe to import a dog from other parts of the world to Australia. So it's an interesting. You guys utilize a lot of your genetics that are there, and you combine them to create these good dogs like bull Arabs and sporty bullies and stuff like that. So yeah, I find the dog culture really fascinating there. Do you what is your thoughts on say something like a bull Arab?
yeah. So like, we don't really like we hate to run the big dogs, or the bigger dogs. Sorry, because like our dogs will be like a more of a medium size. Um, but yeah, like we're not really a fan of some dogs. People put too much mixes in them, and then like with the bull Arabs, you really don't know what you're getting. It's just a bit of a mix. We like to keep the if you're gonna mix dogs, keep it simple,
Mm-hmm.
and know what you're doing. A few
Mm-hmm.
times, like you can tell, like I don't know, like not for everyone, but you can start telling what dogs have what in them. So you see dogs that like they have a ridgeback in the cross somewhere. You can
Mm.
ridge, or if they got bully in them, you can see the bully head and a bit of those characteristic. But yeah, we would just you just keep it nice and simple. So
Yeah, you keep you know your genetics is basically what you're saying instead of having a dog that's been scatterbred.
yeah, otherwise you just get this like it might do the job, for like like my dad says, any dog can hunt. It's just which one can do it better. So a lot of people say like you gotta like all the lap dogs. They're all hunting dogs, all the little terriers and stuff. And then people complain like, oh, why do they always yap and why do they always bite me? It's because they're hunting dogs. It's just they can't do it better than other dogs. Can't catch a pig. Might not catch a pig, can catch a rat.
Mm.
But yeah, I feel like less is more. So and my dad's pretty like firm with what he's doing. He just loves his breed. He respects all breeds, but the ones he's doing now, it's what suits him, what works for him. It's hard. Like when you sell puppies, you have like you don't know what they can do. You don't know how they're gonna turn out. So when you build the consistency that my dad has been doing, he's more than confident to say that like 80%, 90% of the dogs will do its job. Here and there, you'll get you get a cur, something that's not cut out. But my dad's been doing it for a while now. So like he just sent me a video now of one of the pups. He had training about 6 hours away, just the basic stuff, being in the kennel, being in the cage, taking for walks, basic commands, learn its name, um, and then he went to go pick it up, and it's just like the pig today. No prior anything, just the genetics and the bloodline. Because it's hard. A lot of people inquire from overseas, and you don't want to send something there. It costs maybe like you're looking at 5 to 10 grand to send something over there, and you want it to do its job. It's a risk, and we hate taking money from people. So if you want to do something like that, it has to be proper. Yeah, you have to be consistent. Like even if someone was to turn around and say, "Look, the dog's not cutting out," like we're more than happy to take it back, and because we want to, like it's all about reputation as well.
Mm.
Like one bad thing, it's all over, and like dog, the dogs are great. It's the people that make it worse. The community sometimes gets tarnished from the people that run this
Yeah.
business, like run the community. Here in Australia, I think it's not too bad. Like there is a bit of like you know backlash with one another who's got the best dogs, or
Yeah.
I can get my dog for $200. Why are you selling it for 2,000? Or why are you selling it for this much?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, what do you? Let's say you need you need a pure. Do you guys ever? You probably have
Okay.
enough dogs. Do you ever say, "Hey, I want this pure bull terrier because he matches what I want in my program"? Do you guys ever? You ever step out in that realm when you need new genetics, or are you looking strictly from other sporting bull type folks?
So yeah, like we always in the we're always out looking for another potential dog to join the bloodline or to keep it going. So like often people want their a lot of bullies here they're desexed, so it's hard. You see a nice bully like this is the male that's gonna give us what we want for the next line or for the next breeding, and it's desexed or they don't want they find out we're pig hunters and they don't want to serve with the dog. They want it to go to like a rescue family and stuff, which is a shame because like we feel like every dog should have a purpose. Makes like yeah, okay. Some people may disagree and say the dog should live its best life on the couch, but I feel like we're a very strong working dog family. So we really want every dog to have a purpose, and sometimes that dog can be a stud for us, and then we can give it to a new home. But it also works for the stag hound. It's hard to find good stag hounds, so when we find one, we want to breed or buy it, but sometimes we don't have the space. It's hard, and when you do want to stud stuff, it's like we have to travel to Queensland, which is like it can be up to like like a couple of days travel, or and stuff like that. And we don't want to do put dogs on ice or send semen because you never know what you're gonna get. And so like we're very particular with what we're breeding. We found even with one of our breedings, we used a stud dog, and the stud dog through health issues. So not everyone's gonna have a piece of paper, medical certificate that says like this dog is cleared for such and such, and we found one line to be really bad, so we couldn't like the line had to stop there because we refused to breed heart problems and stuff. If it's gonna be a genetic that's going to like a genetic mutation or a problem that's going to go into the next bloodline, we'd like to stop it there. Um, not everyone would agree, and like I don't know over there, like you'd have a lot of people that says, every dog deserves love and a home, but sometimes if it's not cut out, it's not cut out. Yeah, we do a bit of both. So we do the basic health test when they're born, um, and not always. So like we try and keep it. Some dogs, it's getting very expensive and regulated here. So every time you go to the vet, they do the basic tests, the heart test and stuff, and usually that's what we go off. But like dogs can like after we sell the dog, we don't know what it can get, but we usually get rid of the first basic health test. I usually like depends if we're going to keep this dog for ourselves or other people, we can go to we can further that, but it gets too costly. Otherwise we probably get everything checked for every litter we have, but sometimes people just want a dog that's going to do his job, hunted. That's it. No, not everyone wants to breed. Um, but then again, if like someone else takes our dog and breeds it, we don't know what's going to breed it with. So from there, they could breed it to something else with health problems and stuff. But yeah, we usually just do the basics, the basic, worm, get the vets to do the heart checks at 4 weeks, 6 weeks, the needles and that.
Yeah, one of the things that what I think with working dog folks is that you want a dog that's going to perform. So it's pretty quick to be able to see when a dog isn't up to snuff. You can see that if hey, this dog doesn't run properly, it looks like it should be able to go 2 miles, but it's stopping in half a mile and it starts to limp. Then hey, maybe there's something wrong with these dogs, elbows and hips or whatever. So
Yeah,
then
no,
you
yeah,
then you then you then you figure it out, and then you pet home it, so to
yeah. So
speak.
like, so like we depends the dogs we have. Like if we see they're not fit or the conformation is not right, the footing, the tracking, the foot, like the feet they have. If we see, okay, this is not going to be a nice running dog, we'll try and push it towards a pet home. But we often have people that say we want this dog that's going to be running in this terrain or the mountain. They're going to be running the hills, the flat country. They're big. This is a bigger dog, so we have to watch out what legs. Because with the bull terrier, they have the footing's a bit different from the hound, so we have to be careful of what the hound throws in the mix, and what the bully throws. If we've got some big dogs and they've thrown to the feet of the hound, and they're going to be jumping a lot, we know it's going to be a lot of pressure on the front. As well as we like to see the coop if they've got a good coop to run and such. But some people they don't know what they're looking at. If it's going to a pet home, we like to just keep just the hard problems so they don't get any. Always the hard problems, especially with the bullies. And we just try and find the best home suited for that dog. Usually, the best dogs we'll like to send them to working homes. The ones that might not be cut out, they might get some foot problems over time. We just like to keep them, more pet friendly, because our dogs are for everyone, not just hunters. So
I like that. I really do. I think every program should have a working dog program should have that mentality. Like, they, it just makes more sense to me. And then, and honestly, that means that you're actually, you're out there to fulfill a market, and you're not exclusive. I don't like exclusivity on either side. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, we've had people that's like message us saying, "Oh, can we get a dog?" And like, yeah, everyone can get a dog. It's just sometimes when we breed with our breeding program, some of these dogs are just meant like, we'd love to see them cut out for a nice working home. And a few people message us and they'll say, "Hey, look, um, like because you get a litter of 6 or something, so you don't have 6 pups. You have like 20 people message you. You want to go to the best 6. Yeah, okay. The lady that lives in the city, that's going to give the dog a nice home cooked meal, a nice warm bed. It'd be the best life for it. But we'd love to see it work, catch the biggest pig, be out every day, every weekend, get the numbers in it, because it just shows that what we're breeding is working. Yeah, okay, the dog may look good that goes to walk to the park, but we wanted to catch balls, the pig, not balls. The throwing, playing fetch.
Yeah, for sure. Is your dad looking to solidify basically this as a separate breed? Is that the idea of the long game here?
Yeah, so like that would be his dream, just like the bull Arab. He would love to do that. Um, but yeah, then again, it's like it's more of the all the paperwork stuff. It's a behind the scenes. We're not really familiar with that, so that's something we would love to see in the future. And even now, when we go into our classifieds here, we see people are using the name or our bloodline and saying, "Oh, look, Sporting Bully crossed with this dog," and we have people in the states. There's a lot of good bull terrier breeders, bull terrier crosses there. They want to bring our bloodline. So like, yeah, we'd love to do it, but it's something that we look for in the future. Maybe not now, but yeah, in the future, we'd love to do that.
What countries have you shared your bloodlines with? Whether it's shipping semen or puppies, or can you talk about that process?
Yeah, so currently we only sold one overseas. Everything's been Australia wide, so we've sent it to like all the state and territories. Um, but we did send one puppy to Hong Kong. And every time I tell people, "Oh, we sent it to Hong Kong," everyone gets the idea, what for? But yeah, it was actually a companion dog, and it was a really good dog. But unfortunately, it fell off a waterfall on a nice walk, and it was a shame because it was it was our first big make to go international, and it's unfortunately it didn't live long. It was with our guy Marty, a good friend of ours, Marty, and yeah, so that was our first pup. we did have people from the Czech Republic wanting to buy two pups recently, but the fares to fly the dogs there, it's like it was reaching like $8,000, and that's just like including the fares, not the pups itself. And although that we want to like send our blood overseas, it's very hard for us to make to keep us going if we don't make money from it. Um, but yeah, we've had someone from like a lot of people from the states wanting our dogs, especially Hawaii. The Hawaiians always they're always messaging us. You know, we get the Hawaiians, people from New Zealand, Europe, and even India. Like people miss India a lot with the dogs. They love it. They got the gold terrier there, and they got some bullies. So we have one guy there. He's Punjabi from India, and he runs this bull terrier page on Instagram called Only Bull Terriers, or like yeah, something like that. And it's a really big page, and he posts all this stuff. And yeah, he really wants to get one of our dogs. But at the moment, yeah, it was just Hong Kong, but the bloodline stopped. I think maybe like 5 months in, which is very sad. So hopefully soon we'll get back out there internationally.
Yeah, it's just so hard to and now we here in the states we have new laws where we're getting closer to what your laws are.
Yeah,
Not as strict, but we're getting closer to that fact. So even importing from Canada is a lot more difficult. And what was big deal there was, you know, since we're so close, it'd be like you and New Zealand, that we had free trade back and forth basically.
yeah,
A lot of people sharing bloodlines, a lot of like big time show dogs, and that now are like, uh-oh, you know, now they're having to go through this rigmarole. And if you want a puppy, you know, is it going to take you 6 months for this dog to be in quarantine before it can come to the
yeah,
States? You
yeah.
know, stuff like that, like you guys have. So, what about shipping semen? Is that something that you guys have done? Like frozen semen, is that even possible?
Yeah, no, you can. We know people that's like frozen semen. It's lasted like 10, 15 years after the dogs die and stuff. Like my dad's very. If we're gonna send something overseas, you want it to be the best. You know, and we're a bit worried of the risk of flying semen over there and stuff. But yeah, like we're open to it. But yeah.
What about Indonesia? I've seen a lot of good bull terriers at bull terrier
Yes.
crosses out of
Yeah.
Indonesia.
Yeah. We get a lot of people that send us messages from Indonesia and that. But you're not really anyone's like offered to like everyone always wants to buy a pup, but yeah, we never really had them offered. But they always send us videos. They do that pretty cool thing where they chuck the pig in the pan and they drop the dog on it. But we get videos of them sometimes, where, like not just that country, and other countries where they send like 20 dogs with numbers spray painted on their back on one pig and stuff. But yeah, we're always open to like sending our dogs away, but it's just too expensive. It's too expensive, and it's really sad because we want everyone to have our dog, and we'd love to continue the bloodline internationally, but at what cost, you know? So, and it's hard to give it to the right people. Like when we first sent that pup to Hong Kong, he was like one of the best candidates we had, and he gave it the best life. But we don't want to send our pup to someone else, and it's going to go nowhere, and it dies there, or it's like like you have to give it to like someone reputable, like you were saying before, like contracts and stuff. You want it to go to a good candidate, but we don't know. We just see them from the Instagram page or a conversation. It's really hard for us to send something over there for free to know what they're going to do with it.
Oh yeah, and then it's expensive
Yeah,
to
to them or for us. Yeah, like we've heard stories where people like send dogs here and there, and they've not, grown up to be what they thought it was going to be. Like in terms of like height or temperament, and it's something that we don't want to like send over there and get a bad name for. But that's why people they get dogs from the pound. So I don't know if you have it like if they do it there, but I know here for a long time people would go to the pound, pick up a hunting dog, like a mix, and be like, oh, yeah, this dog would be good. Take a hunting, it becomes a really good dog, and it's just like wow.
Yeah, I actually see that with people, and I think the ones that can get the most out of those kinds of dogs are people that can train dogs. For a guy like me, it'd probably be worthless, because I don't have the kinds of dogs that work for me, or like I have a working dog, but
Yeah,
he's a livestock guardian. He's a Turkish Shepherd. He already know it's so ingrained into his genetics. He knows what he's going to do. I don't have to train him. And then
yeah,
the French bulldogs, they're fucking unruly as all hell, but they're 15, 20 pounds, so you could put up with it, right? They're
yeah,
just
yeah.
they're like a mixture between bulldog and lapdog. So, and if you know anything about Englishes and Frenches, if you're an English person and you're thinking about getting a French, don't do it. They're a lot more terrier like. You're not gonna like it.
Yeah, nah, I would like the Frenchies. I don't know. I don't even want to get into the Frenchies, to be honest.
I love them. I love them. I love them to death. But they are very, very. They're misunderstood, and I'm a bulldog person through and through, 100%, a
Yeah,
companion bulldog, but 90% of the people that own them shouldn't own them. They should be way more exclusive than they are.
yeah, that's like a lot of dogs now. Like people, I see people there, and I'm like, with that dog, you should be carrying a breaking stick, and you ask them what a breaking stick is, and they're like, I don't know. So yeah, but that's the dog community. Like that's the whole dog community. A lot of people shouldn't own dogs, but they do. Like I've had heaps of people say, "Oh, we've got this pit bull and it's like a bull mastiff or something completely different," and saying we can't control it. It's aggressive. You pick up the dog and the dog's barking at you because it's scared, not because it's aggressive. But that's ever like that's my experience as someone that's grown up with dogs all my life. I've had like my friends like I've got a scary dog here, and they've skipped the dog onto me, and the dog's like it's not aggressive, so it's not going to bite me. So I'll just stand there, and the dog's like panics. But that's just from experience. Yeah,
Yeah, that's really good knowledge to have, especially when you're trying to grow like you guys are. So talk about the Australian stag. What is an Australian stag for the ignorant folks like me that don't know that?
yeah. So let me see if I can get a nice picture up. The Australian stag hound. Oh, I'm pretty sure like it had a weird name like called the Larchie
Okay.
or Larchie. I remember like reading into it a bit. It's a bit like a greyhound. So yeah, like they're like a greyhound and deerhound mix.
Oh, that's an awesome mix.
I'll give you an example of a few. I don't know if it's gonna work on here, but they're just like a proper hairy dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
these things are amazing. I love it. Like I love them so much. They're they're just a big dog, big loving dog. But they use them for kangaroos. So it's actually called like the Australian Roo Dog. Um, so they were bred to catch kangaroos, and like that's impressive. I don't know if people know what a kangaroo is. It's like it's a very awkward animal for a dog to catch. So to see dogs like that take him down, it's like it's an impressive thing. Where the pigs are four-legged animal, pretty good. I've seen people send me videos of like dogs taking down deer, which I'm pretty sure it's illegal in like most countries and pretty much every country. But yeah, people send me videos of that, and that's impressive. I've seen videos of like dogs taking down kangaroos, and it's different. It's a difference. It's a whole different thing. But yeah, that's the Australian stag hound or Roo dog.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty iconic. Not many people know of them, but yeah, to the pig hunters, it's an iconic dog, and um, it's like it's in a lot of the breeds. Um, but yeah, pretty impressive dog. Um, when my dad was breeding the bull terriers before, like the bully stags, they were hairy.
Mhm.
So uh, like I'll see if I can find a picture now. But these dogs were like what our dogs look like now, but with hair, like the fur, and it's crazy to see. So like even now, you still got people that still do the same breeding, um, but when they're when they're short hair, you get to see their muscle definition and stuff. Otherwise, you're just looking at like a fur ball with a nice bully head. So I've probably got a photo here somewhere of one of our a dog we had for like 8 years. He's been in some pig hunting videos. He was an amazing dog. Um, but yeah, I'll see if I can get a picture for you. Crazy. If we zoom in here, so like if you look here,
Oh yeah, look at
yeah,
that.
it's not fully hairy,
But you can
but like
tell it.
you can tell,
Yeah,
yeah. So
I love that. Yeah,
yeah. So like this is like my dad used to breed those, and like when people see them, like what the fuck is that? Like
yeah.
that's hideous. You know, they're covered in blood and stuff, and it was really good. But then my dad started breeding the short hair, so from when
Well,
you look at
there's probably an advantage to have for those
yeah,
reasons,
yeah, and
grooming,
then
and
if you
then
look at the other ones, it's like completely
look,
different. Huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
That still looks badass. So I really like. I love that combo. So
but
when
it's
you
same dog, different coat, different. Amazing.
I've really come to love sighthounds
Yeah,
because knowing the lineages of the Turkish dogs, they are basically a mix between sighthound and mastiff.
yeah,
And when I watch him run, I can see some that he has way back in his genetic pool sighthound in him. It's
yeah. You can tell
amazing.
by, yeah, I was taught, like my dad's good friend Ross. He's a very old school dogman, and he's got all the old dog books, and he's taught me about all the tracking and the running styles. And then like when you see like a bull mastiff breed, but it's running like a greyhound, you're like, wow, you can really tell which dogs can run, and which dogs are built for running. You know, by the way the coop is and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, like it's really good.
Yeah, they just add so much athleticism and genetic ability to do things that other dogs can't. And then, like, their hindquarters are so much more efficient compared to your stiff sifle bully breed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, the bulldogs are kind of the bull breeds. Even your standard bull terriers are a little stiff. You know what I mean? When you add that stag hound or those the side hound in them, forget
yes.
about it.
Sometimes we'll get some pups here with that stiffness, you know, and we said, oh, this one's more bully,
Yeah.
and then you see other ones with the more staghound body shape, and it's like it makes a big difference.
Hmm.
Crazy, but you also get that muscle definition from the bully.
Well, you want that aggression and that yeah,
Yeah,
that
you get
bone
you get
density.
at the back when they've got a mess, like the hounds they get them already, but when you get that bully muscle tone in them, it's more explosive. What we've noticed, anyways. So.
Mhm.
Sorry, that's what we're like. We have some of our ones with 6% stag count in them. You get in this pure bully, but it can do stuff that the pure bully can't. You know, you want it to jump on the roof of your car, it's going to jump on the roof of your car. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think there should be I think there should be a 7/8 rule in every breed, in my opinion, where it should be considered purebred if it's 87%, not 100. You know what I'm saying? Because I do
Yeah,
think like things like the English bulldog would be 10 times better off, French bulldog better off. If you added 6 to 12% outside genetics into a dog, look how fast you can change a lot of the health issues.
well, the best looking Frenchie I seen was one that was crossed with American People Terrier. Uh, that thing was amazing. I knew the person, and he's a great dog man, great breeder. I don't want to mention his name just in case some of
Yeah.
his customers are looking here. I think, oh fuck, that's the dog I got the Frenchie off. But yeah, he the most amazing Frenchie I've seen was one bred by him. Um, so like the outcrosses, it works, and like you said, like if they could do the 80% rule or 90% rule or whatever, it would definitely help preserve a lot of the good breeds.
Is there a lot of people? I know we've kind of touched upon a little bit, but go a little more depth about sharing genetics and working with each other on that level, and how has that helped your dad's program?
Yeah, so like with the working dogs, it's a bit different, compared to every other dogs and the breeders. We're not like registered breeders, but we just do it for like a passion thing. So we're always happy to mix with the other people, um, and usually all the pig hunters and that community usually really good. So like someone will be like, "Oh, look, I love your dog. We want to breed. You can have the pick of the litter or such and such." The only issue is it's hard to breed the bitches. Like if I got a good dog, no, like I can't just go up to someone like, "Can I put it over your bitch?" Because it's the other way around. You have to have good bitches. Like you have good bitches. You don't want people to bring their rubbish and then breed to your dog because then you're left with it. Um, but yeah, usually with the pig hunters and everyone else, it's pretty good. It's when it comes to like the bull terrier community and all the proper registered breeders, they're very to themselves. Like I was in a lot of pedigree bull terrier pages, and people would put up like backyard breeding and such and such. But I feel like with the backyard breeding people, they're doing it for the best dog, be the most functional dog, where you have the reputable breeders and registered breeders. They don't want the best dog, they want the best profit margin. Not everyone, but what I see is which dog can make the most money, not which dog can do the most. So yeah, it does get a bit iffy. We usually just try and keep it to ourselves now. Plus, I can't get into any more of those bull terrier pedigree pages from Australia. So,
Your name is thrown about.
yeah, we put one picture of our dog and that's it. We're out of the page.
Yeah, here's a proper bully. Yeah,
You
that's what
know,
you should. Yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah. Unfortunately, you're right. You see that here, it's pretty stark. The reality is really stark to see that these folks that are uh, pretend like they are preservation breeders or people that are looking out for the best of the breed, but then when it comes down to it, you realize it's a marketing tool. So like in the French bulldog community, there is a group of people that believe in health testing, even hip testing and all of that. And I'm okay if you want to hip test and do all those sorts of things with your dog, but then once you start utilizing that to be able to charge 15,000 or $1,500 more for a puppy because your French bulldog passed one hip test score. When hip tests are meant to be done periodically and throughout the dog's life, so one hip test score does not constitute $1,500 more per pup. So it's obvious that they're doing it for money, right? So
yeah.
even the people that are pretending that they are health testing their dogs and they're putting out the best dog, the healthiest dog, French bulldogs or whatever breed it is out there, are don't really know what genetic health testing is all about. I don't know it, and they're not a geneticist, and canine geneticists will tell you that health testing is just one small, tiny portion of breeding good, healthy dogs. What you guys are doing is a bigger portion, even because you're testing your dogs. You're getting out there and testing your dogs, and you're seeing your dogs in action, and then you're cutting the ones that aren't going to do well in action out of your program, or they have a heart murmur. Boom, that line goes away.
Even with the heart murmur, like you said, the dog that I produce, well, my dad produces. Sorry, I'm not going to take his credit. Um, it can be good for 6 weeks. It can get it. It can, and then it can outlive it in a couple months, a couple weeks, or it might have it. It might have it forever and get worse. That's the hard thing. Like you're saying, one test. Um, so it's very hard. Like I can sell 100% completely fine tested dog, and He'll get a heart murmur, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, this dog is rubbish," you know. But then it might outlive that heart murmur and be fine. So it's yeah, like you said, it's hard.
You know, just because it has one thing doesn't mean that it's healthy or unhealthy. You know,
Yeah,
so
it's like a risk and reward type thing, where you might lack with something, but it's if the dog's good, the dog's good. Like our dogs now, um, when they snap a canine, they can still do the job. They just have to learn how to hold the pig differently.
right.
We're not going to pay like up to like I don't know how much thousands to put titanium canines in there. They're going to rip off on a pig. It's going to die to a pig on the weekend. They just adapt, and some things you can just get away with.
Do you guys ever think about starting your own little tiny registry or organization to be able um, to to write down so people can get their little certificate and to kind of make it a uniformed type of thing?
Yeah, we kind of like we always think about it. Like we even had like a little family tree going and all this stuff, but it became too hard, and you lose track, and people breed the dogs, and I feel like we've already like the ship sailed. You know, it's a bit difficult. But if in the future, if it's something that when we try to do, we might come there. But yeah, at the moment it was pretty hard, and you just lose track of things.
I assume that it's just, you know, you guys are just looking for performance and putting out good dogs, so it's kind of hard to, yeah, understand.
Yeah, and then with especially with with money, like it's our customer base. Like we have people that want to spend the money, but they're not going to use the dog to its true ability. Pig hunters are not going to spend thousands for a dog that will die the first trip out. There's some people that do. There are a lot of people like that will have like $5,000 to spend on a dog that's working already. But yeah, like you don't know what you're gonna get. So it's like we've had people like now saying, "Well, we don't want to spend this much for a dog that's gonna die on the weekend when we take it out." So like where do you start? Where do you stop? And yeah,
Talk about some of the training methods that you guys go through. I'm going to speed this. I'm sorry for talking so much. I'm just really interested in.
it's hard when you're talking to dog people. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
get into it. But yeah, with the training, um, my dad likes to do basic. We do basic training at home, and every dog's different. So you might have a dog that's gonna like lug at 3 months, lug at 6 months, lug at 12 months, and so forth. Obviously, the more bullier ones will lug earlier, but then again, you wanted to get a taste of the pig, and then take it off. If the pig was to grab the dog, it'll kill it, quit it, and you're gonna have like a softer dog over time. So usually we like to get them exposed to the surroundings, like on the back of the ute. Teach you how to jump. Jumping's a big thing. If the dog can't jump, it's a big thing. Like we have to it just takes away time, and if you have to jump fences, it just makes it a lot easier if the dog knows how to jump. Learn its name, callbacks. Yeah, usually the basics, are a big foundation of the bigger picture.
And what is it when you look for a puppy? What is your dad and you guys looking for to keep a puppy back for your purpose?
Yeah, so when we keep pups, it's usually we try and keep the best head, and we do confirmation, attitude. Um, my dad will like religiously spend every day looking at the pups. He'll tell you everything that's wrong with the pup, what's different. Even if it's barking or crying, he'll know which one's which, and without looking. Um, yeah, but usually just we check the confirmation. We'll see how they go. It's hard. Like the first 6 weeks, it's like a lot changes in the pup, but you can't really tell until like it's longer. So if it's a good breeding and we want to keep it, we'll keep up to 12 weeks. See which one's good. Usually we keep the two best ones, and from there we'll just we'll sell one of them, or sometimes we'll sell both. Circumstance changes, and often some dogs that we have that are older, we'll spend more time with them. But when you got heaps of dogs, it's hard. You know, which one do you devote time with, and which one you say, okay, it's time to let go of this one and get rid of it.
And can you talk about, like, from your knowledge, what's the difference between pig hunting in Australia and pig hunting in the United States? And can you explain some of that to the people in the States?
Yeah, so the states are, I'm not going to get rid of the states because they love USA, USA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find like with us Australians, our style of hunting is just like pretty like pretty crazy, pretty nasty. We just go out there. Like some people go off one dog, um, full send. But I feel like at the states they're a bit different with their style. I don't know. Maybe it's just how we are in terms of culture and that. But even in Australia, it's different. We have like proper hunters, and then we got like people that all the gear, no idea. They'll go out there. It's a bit different. But the pig hunters that I'm all like pretty close with and familiar with, like man, they just grab their knife, their dog, put the tracking collars on them, and chest plates, and they're just out there, like going. It's so hard to explain. But yeah, we got it in the head. We got it, but yeah, it's a very different, similar but very different. And I would love to go over to the States and see it firsthand. But from all the videos we see, it's crazy, And I feel like everyone in the States should come over to Australia and go out, with some pig chasers and see the difference because it's really different, It's crazy. It's very similar, but just different.
Well, you guys are, would you say, for a layman like me, you guys are more hands on? You're more in the brush with fighting with the pig with the dogs type of thing?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, we're very hands on. Like we're getting in there, we're tackling the pig. We're flipping them over, using the knife to stick it, um, and stuff. And people, I'm not too sure about the states, but people in Australia, like when they're hunting with a dog, it's a big bond, it's a big connection. A lot of hunters say, "Oh, it's your dog doing all the work. It's you're not really hunting, but you are. You're seeing everything that your dog does. It's you're working together. It's like you have to see the cues the dogs. Like if the dog's in the back of the ute and it's sniffing, wanting to jump, you have to be there to help, like egg it on, or if the dog's good enough, it'll jump itself and stuff. But it's like a team connection, and we just like I don't know, we share that love with the dog. It's pretty crazy.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess if you're a dog person, it's different. It's a different. You're doing it because you love the dog as much as you love the hunting.
Yeah, the dog's there to please you, and
Hmm.
you can't just take the dog out and it's gonna find the pig. It's like you working together. Where
Hmm.
a lot of people will say like hunting is like bow and arrow or getting a gun, but yeah, each to their own. But like I respect like the bow hunters that can go out there and they're out there tracking animals and stuff. But we do the same. Like dog people do the same too. The dogs can't always see the footprint and say, oh yeah, I know which way the pig's going or such and such. They're just usually just using the sense and of the smell and the sense of their vision.
And talk about the different kinds of hogs, the pigs in Australia. So are they bigger, smaller, or do you know the difference between the ones in the States and in Australia?
Yeah, so we just have the like the feral pig. There's not really much types, but you do see different. Um, like there's a difference. Like sometimes they're crossed with domestic. Like you can see there's like a saddleback cross in there somewhere and such. But usually the feral pigs are all the same. Different parts of the state and country, you get different pigs. So you'll see pigs in the cane. They have less hair on them. Pigs in the colder areas, mountains, a bit more big ass mountain balls. I feel like are a bit tougher up in the body, a lot of fighting and stuff. And then you got pigs like in the flat country in Queensland, where they're not all of them are huge, but they got mad tusk, and different fighters, and yeah, there's all pretty much similar. Not like when you got like the Russian boar and countries where you know there's all different breeds. I feel like they're all the same breed, just different. They've adapted to their environment differently.
Mhm. Can you talk about the what areas do you and your dad like to hunt the most up in Australia? What kind of terrain?
Yeah, so we're in the flat country, stubble country, so where the wheat crops are. Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty open. Yeah, just flat, dry, red dirt. It's hard to explain what like the foliage and stuff because it's you live there for so long, you don't explain it. But yeah, it's just like open country, a bit
Mhm.
dry,
Mhm.
pretty thick in some areas. But yeah, that's all we enjoy. But yeah, usually the best country is where the pigs are. you know, yeah.
Do you guys enjoy going up, say, into the mountain ranges and stuff? Has that been an interesting thing for you guys, or?
Yeah, so like I feel like with the mountains, it's you get mad pigs, but you don't get the numbers. Where when you go out to the flat country, there's more numbers, more pigs. But when you do go to the mountains, it's hard walking, hard on the dogs. With our dogs, like we have to be make sure they're more fit, more leaner. It makes a huge difference, and um, yeah, like I feel like you don't catch as much pigs, but you catch really good ones. So we have a lot of people here that go to the state forests, which you have to have a hunting license, and there's more regulated. Where like my father and I, we usually go to private properties, so there's no regulations with the. There is, but not as much. You're not really licensed or policed by the government.
Mhm.
But yeah, usually the forests and the mountains that have big pigs, but yeah, just not the numbers that you want to do on a weekend. Like yeah.
And what about when you're uh, is there regulations on breeding and anything like that where you guys have to be mindful of, or?
Yeah, so I think you only allowed like two or three dogs, so we've surpassed that by a lot. Um, and now they're making it really hard when you go to get your dogs vaccinated and registered.
Hmm.
You have to do a lot of like state declarations and stuff. It makes it harder, but they're doing a good favor for the people that are irresponsible dog breeders and irresponsible dog owners. But for people that are like trying to do like preserve good dog breedings or they're working dog homes, there's a lot of people out there that's doing what we're doing, but different breeds. And it just makes it harder and harder for everyone. But yeah, there's always going to be stuff in Australia with regulating breeding dogs, hunting, and anything dog related.
How do you guys manage with that? Do you guys just try to stay under the radar?
Yeah, so that's the problem. Like the more we grow, the bigger chance of us, running into those issues. We're pretty good with our local council. She's a nice lady. She's familiar with what we do, and a lot of people like give us props, for what we're doing. But it's more like a just waiting game, and make sure that your environment that you create for your dogs at home is nice and clean.
Yep.
Make sure your dog bowls is good. They have good space to run and stuff. Um, yeah, it's more like just a waiting game, to see what they actually do.
And talk about the diet. What do you
So at the
guys?
moment, yeah, so we our diet just consists of kibble and raw. So we use Enduro Full Ball. It's this guy that makes kibble down here for us, and we usually buy it by the pallet load because we've got heaps of dogs. And then raw, we usually get chicken carcasses, um, different types of meats. Usually, if we go hunting and we catch like a lot of pigs, we keep it for ourselves. Some for the dogs, vice versa.
Mhm. And do they like the taste of pig?
Yeah, yeah, they love it. So sometimes we'll cut a leg up, chuck it in the cage on the way home, and we travel 6 hours. By the time we get back, it's nothing left.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the dogs that you guys been impressed with that aren't your style of dog.
Oh, okay. So That's hard. There's always a few dogs that really impress you, and it's always usually the ones that are like some weird mix that you would never see. You know, it's a dog that's been crossed, and you're like, what the fuck is that thing? Those are usually the dogs that impress us the most. I think my dad and I would probably agree that we had this Saluki cross, um, had everything, and she could outfind like any dog you put next to her. She was just fucking phenomenal. Fuck, I can't even say the word, and she was crazy. Um, yeah, she was a good dog, and it's just like it's pretty much just a dog that's got everything in it. You know, they're usually the most impressive ones.
right?
Yeah.
What about there's the trend that you guys have down there that's interests me because it's kind of I can see how it works and everything, but here in the states, a lot of people with the style of dog here, for the most part, wouldn't see that cross and say, "Wow, that's a good dog." But as far as like hunting and stuff, is the boxer cattle dogs? What have you noticed about them?
Yeah, so like the boxer cattle, bully boxer cattle, they're like a very 80s 90s breed. Um, like I don't know too much of the history on them, but
Yeah,
just
don't.
very hard dogs. Especially when you do the boxer cattle. Anything with cattle in it is not normal. Very hard dogs, but I find when depends how you cross them, depends how you get the style of the dog. So I can't remember if the male has to be a cattle or the female. But yeah, if you cross it a certain way, you get a completely different dog in terms of look and temperament. But yeah, they're really good dog. We've had a few. I think we had a bully boxer cattle, and she was tough as nails. She was like 9 years old, no teeth, and still going like a 1 year old. So
Has there been any breeds that your dad ever thought about using but didn't?
so we would love to do like we got like all the dogs that are banned here. The presser, the doggo, but yeah, at the moment I feel like in that question, the Great Dane, he wanted to outcross bully Dane and then put the bully stag together and kind of like work around that, but we couldn't get this bitch that we had to drop pups, so that's one he was really looking forward to. But we got a deer hound at the moment that will probably put some pictures up in the coming days, weeks, which would be going into our breeding program, which is really good. She's a good looking dog. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
No, that's awesome. I'd love that. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen.
nice hairy dogs. So.
Yeah, I would love that. That's really cool. And yeah, they are good dogs. Um, so what would you say that you're in 5 years? What's the game plan for your guys' program?
Yeah, so like by that time, my dad really wants to be like established. Have heaps of dogs out there. We've got a lot of people that are like helping us in terms of breeding our dogs.
Hmm.
Um, we never really try to say our dogs are good or great. We like people to say it from their point of view, because we love all dogs. Like we respect all people that breed and hunt their dogs. But we like people to take our dogs and try it for themselves. And you tell us what you think. It might not work for you, but yeah, in 5 years, hopefully, we got my dad's ideal dog there. I feel like we've perfected some of it, but there's still a lot to go. And we want to just have that consistency where we breed the dog and we know what we're going to get, instead of just like still nitpicking at those genetics and those faults. But yeah, every breeding is different. Like you're always going to get something. In a litter of 10, you have probably one with something or two. But it's just that consistency. And so in those 5 years, hopefully we can we just producing the good dogs, the
Ha-
consistent dogs.
has your
Yeah.
dad ever talked about like the ideal consistent size and as far as height and weight and look what he's looking for, or is that it's just a little less uniformed and more about the dog in front of them.
Yeah, it's a bit hard because like when you get a male dog, it's going to be a bit bigger than the female and stuff. But we would love to like have a nice benchmark 30 kilo dog that's a nice leggy dog, good conformation, hard and fast. Because even though you get a big dog, big hard dog, it's going to be slow. You get a big skinny dog, it's not going to be it's a lot. It's hard. Like we have the vision there, and we always talk about this is what we want. But then when you get it, you're like, nah, you're gonna say, nah, I want this now, I want that. Yeah,
So a leggy bull with running ability and stamina,
yeah, hard as fuck. So yeah,
hard
it's
as nails.
hard
Yeah,
as now. Like yeah, you want something that's going to be aggressive, but good with the kids. That can jump anything, listen to you, but has to have that bulliness. It's hard. Like it's something that like we had that before. We had a great dog. Really really great finding and everything, but it wasn't aggressive. And like you kind of want that bit of aggression. Just it keeps that bully stag. Like that proper bully stag. We had bully stags before, and they were all aggressive. But yeah, what's perfect for us is not perfect for other people.
so when you're talking to your dad and you guys are you're talking genetics and game here, is there anything that you say to your dad that your dad doesn't heed the advice, but you swear that you're right?
Nah, he's a scary man, so he's always right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
good for you.
I respect him a lot, so it's like nah, I'm not gonna mess with him. But he does. Like I love when my dad speaks about dogs because you just know he's passionate about it, and a lot of people think, oh nah, he's just like he's doing it for the money or um, you know. But when he talks about his dogs and stuff, you really know he means it, And every day I'm still learning more and more of what he's trying to achieve and what he knows, what he learns. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I wish I could have him here next to me telling you, um, but yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's one of those things like it's easy to see that somebody that does has this lifestyle, it's not an easy life to make money. There's other easier things that you could do, the dog life is not easy, especially the kinds of dogs that you guys are trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I told him like we can start breeding Frenchies and Cavoodles and we can start making a lot of money. But yeah, no, it's especially hunting. Like there's no gain from big hunting. Like there's no money reward or anything. We're not making money. We're spending money. We have to buy trackers, chest plates, vet bills, supplies, petrol to get there. It's not something that you're making money from. You make money from like the selling the dog or the merchandise. So it's very hard, but we just love it.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the to me that's what I've if I was going to write pen to paper how I would draw up a breeding program, I I don't think that I would just rely on just puppy sales. You'd have to encompass a business like you guys are contemplating. You know what I mean, with the merchandise and anything else. So you? I talked. You kind of mentioned it before, but the taking people out on tours is not that's not something that you really.
yeah, like people ask us all the time, but it's hard because some of the properties that we go on, like that we don't own the properties. And the properties that we do own, it's like it's too small to get the full like pig hunting experience, and it's not cheap. And like, where do you put the price? Like, I remember someone from Spain offered us to come do one of their tours, and they charged like $5,000 for one ball
Yeah,
in euros or whatever they.
yeah, yeah.
And what like one ball $5,000? We catch like some people here catch 50 in one weekend,
Hmm.
and like you can't really put a price on it. It's and then it becomes a job,
Hmm.
not what you enjoy. But like we do take some friends out and people that want to experience it, and it's definitely like life changing for them. They appreciate everything a bit more.
Hmm.
But yeah, like it's very still very hard to make money off that, and um, like you never know. You take something out, they ruin it for you, and then you lose the access to that property, and then we can't continue doing what we enjoy.
Hmm. So, what is you kind of talk about it? What is the overall look for pig hunters in Australia? Is there you guys are outliers, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like we're just like it's hard to explain. Like it's just a culture you have to see. Like you have to go there and indulge in it because it's very vast. And when I see pig hunters, I feel like it's um, like what would you call like like what you guys call rednecks,
Yes.
but we're not really like they're not all rednecks. There's some hunters that are very conservative and they give me vibes of like bow hunters, where they're
Hmm.
just very calm and collected. They're wearing camo head to toe and they're really good. It's just a big community, but I feel like with the pig hunters, like the ones that use dogs, is all very similar and they're all like they got that redneck vibe, but a community, like a
Hmm.
very yeah, very hard to explain.
Yeah. What kind of vehicles do you have that suits the best in dog boxes? And can you talk about that?
Yeah, so what we have is utes, or what we call four drives utes, what you guys would call trucks. Not the massive trucks. We usually just have like the Land Cruiser, Navara, Toyota Hilux, and all that. Um, Everyone's a bit different with how they set it up. We just run a dog box in the back, takes up the whole tray. We let the gates open and we take them off and let the dogs run freely on the back. And we have a spotlight on the top, but nowadays everyone uses a thermal. So that's just changed the game for everyone. Not everyone uses it, everyone's different, but that's how we run it. And we'll just drive through the property using the thermal camera, either on the hand or on the spotlight. And yeah, it literally shows you like if there's pigs around, and if there's no pigs around in that one open paddock, all right, don't waste your time. You can go a bit faster and stuff. But yeah, usually just the utes. But I've seen people use like people use motorbikes sometimes, or the quads. We use quads.
Hmm.
Quads are pretty good. You get into places where you can't take the ute. Yeah, you just get the quad, have something on the back, dog sit on the back. It's really good.
And talk about has anybody used drones or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've seen a few people use drones. We watch Boring Australia, and they use drones in the wet countries and in Queensland, and you can pretty much chase the pigs back to you if you want, and it's good to see where they are. But you're very limited to how far you can go.
Mhm.
But also, like people use helicopters.
Yeah.
So some people that are lucky, they have people with helicopters that can chase the pigs to them, or
Yeah.
one weekend we went out hunting. They had the culling the pigs with the helicopters along the river, and we're kind of sitting there looking. Oh, they're shooting here. We'll go this way, and like, yeah, if you wait long enough, and pigs will come through. The ones that they miss, which is
Yeah.
good. You sit there with the dogs waiting and let them off, and yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. How's the mix of people? Like, you come from a South American Vietnamese. Is there pig hunters that are or with similar international backgrounds like you guys?
Yeah, so it's pretty much open to anyone. Like everyone's. I see heaps of people, different people. A lot of ladies in the sport.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of ladies. Yeah, I find there's heaps of people. It's not really besides the Aussies, purebred Aussies, they love it, But yeah, it's a vast community, different nationalities. A lot of Serbians. A lot of the Serbs love to go hunting. I find a lot of Lebanese people have started to involve themselves in the pig hunting community. But yeah, just mainly a lot of Aussies. Like there's just heaps of us here. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So what what do you foresee anything coming down the pike? Is there any laws that you guys are trying to counteract with the pig hunting?
Yeah, so at the moment there's I can't really remember what they're doing in terms of like the law, but they were trying to like regulate it in a way that it wasn't being effective or something. So there's Craig Tompkins, he's doing this collect the ears of the pigs, and he has a little database going where people like will register and they can win prizes for putting the numbers of pigs they catch. Um, every week when they go out, and it's given them the data to then send to the government and whatever bodies are involved of what they're doing, like of what the pig hunters is doing, and showing how much pigs they're catching a night or a weekend away, and that's really helping us in the community. But then again, there's so many things happening. Like one stage is saying, let's like we're going to use bait, or we can't use dogs, or the greenies, and there's so much things happening. So it's always one thing or the other.
Right. You guys are having to justify it and figure out a way
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I feel like pig dogging is very effective. It might not be as humane as like using a gun, but then again, the gun isn't always as effective as a knife to the heart. You miss the pig in a spot. Um, you shoot it, it runs off, it dies slowly. Yeah, the knife is pretty brutal, but most times you stick it in the heart and it's dead in a few seconds. So
Yeah, there's advantages. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you could. That's another whole conversation in itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, you're eradicating a species that you're keeping a population down. It's yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
better than poison. So
agreed.
yeah,
Yeah. Then your little fluffy wouldn't get
yeah,
a hold
fluffy.
of some
Yeah,
poison and kill itself. You know.
yeah. Like we have 1080 here. I don't know if you guys have 1080, but yeah, it's destroys everything. So even our dogs. So if the dog is unlucky and grabs something that's been affected by 1080, even if it's rotted away and just bones, it can still affect the dogs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Was there anything that we didn't talk about that you think we should, or do you think your dad would want you to convey?
That if you haven't been pig dogging before, to give it a go. Pretty much, that's like the biggest thing.
Thank you to our generous sponsors, Mark and Perla Lambert, for supporting this video. Your contribution helps us continue to create valuable content for our audience. Please show your support to their YouTube channel, Jesus Answers Prayer, and tell them you heard about them from the Bulldog Social Club. If you're interested in sponsoring future episodes, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to collaborate with you. My email and phone number is listed in the description section of this video.
Jesus Answers Prayers is a multi-platform ministry in both English and Spanish. Our mission is twofold. First is evangelism. We have the gospel presentation videos to help reach the lost and explain the basics of the gospel. The links can be found at the end of every video produced by this ministry. They also help in aiding the Christian in evangelism. Second is the education for the Christian community. God's word is very important to know. God doesn't speak in an audible voice to us, but he does speak through his word. If we don't read his word, then we can miss out. So knowing is important. And if you're anything like me, it can be hard to understand particular chapters and their meanings. So it's nice to have that commentary to help grow in the understanding of God's word. If you want to grow in your understanding of Scripture, then you can find the Bible, a work in progress, book by book, chapter by chapter, with a corresponding Matthew Henry commentary. God bless and see you there.
Jesús responde. Oraciones. Es un ministerio multiplataforma, tanto en inglés como en español. Nuestra misión es doble. La primera es la evangelización. Tenemos los videos de presentación del Evangelio para ayudar a alcanzar a los perdidos y explicar los conceptos básicos del Evangelio. Los enlaces se pueden encontrar al final de cada video producido por este ministerio. También ayudan al cristiano en la evangelización. En segundo lugar, está la educación para la comunidad cristiana. Es muy importante conocer la palabra de Dios. Dios no nos habla en voz audible, pero sí a través de su palabra. Si no leemos su palabra, entonces podemos perdernos. Entonces, saber es importante y, si eres como yo, puede resultar difícil comprender capítulos concretos y sus significados. Por eso es bueno tener ese comentario para ayudar a crecer en la comprensión de la palabra de Dios. Si desea aumentar su comprensión de las Escrituras, puede encontrar la Biblia, un trabajo en progreso, libro por libro, capítulo por capítulo, con el correspondiente comentario de Matthew Henry. Dios los bendiga y nos vemos allí.